Yes, he did.
Donnybrook is made possible by the members of the 9 Network.
So good to have you on another edition of Donnybrook. Thanks for joining us. And a little later in the program, we'll tell you how you can join us October 1st for our big fundraiser, Donny Bash. But first, let's meet the panelists, starting with the news director from the Big 550, KTRS, Wendy Weiss, along with one of our founders from the Post-Dispatch, Bill McClellan. Another founder, he's from the Riverfront Times, as well as the Big 550 KTRS, Ray Hartman. And from 97.1 FM News Talk, the Dave Glover Show, plus 590 AM and STLmag.com and the St. Louis American. Whew, what a resume, Mr. Alvin Reed. Before we begin the discussion, just a little housekeeping notice, and that is that next week at this time, PBS presents the Democratic presidential debate. Hope you watch that. That means Donnybrook will not be seen between 7 and 7:30 on Channel 9. However, you will see us, whole new program, on our Facebook page as well as the 9 Network page, okay? So that's next week and next week only. We're starting with Wendy Weiss, and a good evening to you, Wendy.
Good evening to you.
Well, it seems like we're talking about the loop trolley quite a bit lately. Since we spoke last week, 2 things developed. Number 1, it was announced that the loop trolley, the $52 million unpopular little rail line between the Loop and the History Museum, is going to end business on December the 29th. Also, Bi-State's been given permission by its directors to look into taking the loop trolley over. This is Bi-State, which runs Metrolink. And maybe a third little wrinkle here, $1.8 million federal dollars in unused grants are going to be applied, leaders hope, to keep this living for another month or 2 or 3. What do you think about these developments?
I thought it was $1.1 million in federal grants for the next 4 years. Is that right? The unused federal grants for the next 4 years, at least according to Talby Roach. He has also said that to have a reputation, for the St. Louis area to have a reputation as not having the, it kind of sent a chill down my spine the way he phrased it, that if we don't have the political will to finish these types of projects or to stay with these types of projects, which never should have started in the first place. We're the little train that never should have, actually, if you think about it. But he says that this is not good for Bi-State. It's not good for the area. He also said that he has spoken to some federal transit officials who are on board with Bi-State's plan, or he sort of inferred that. Alaya, what is the lady's name? There is a board member who is a co-chair. I thought her name was Alaya, and please forgive me, I'm spacing on her last name. But she said that we receive a lot of requests from the public when it comes to transit dollars, and she said she voted down on this idea. She voted it down. But she said we have not had the clamoring from the public. So I don't see where, you know, even if the trolley's moving, if we have the 3rd car, you know, if something miraculous happens, I still don't see how it works.
No, I don't either, Wendy. And you know, there comes a time when you throw your cards in.
Yeah.
And you say, you know, we could get another $3 million and then put this off for 6 months or something. But there's no shame in having an idea that didn't work. And that's what St. Louis has had. And I say we should just shut it down.
Unless it's got a $50 million toe tag on it, that's bad.
Well, I was just going to say, first of all, I thought it was $90 million that they were going to get. I said that when I was sitting here for you one day. I still.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. But you know, like I said last week, you know, until we, you know, try to jumpstart it a few more times, I'm not going to call a time on it. And I think that, you know, we're so far down the path that it's even beyond throwing good money after bad. This is just kind of like, wait, we got to do something, because we'll end up having to pay the government back, and then we'll end up not getting stuff from the government in the future. And I would just, I would exhaust everything.
I think Alvin's right. Pretty much it's an instant replay. I mean, there's news, and you know, that the shutting it down mercifully at the time being. And I'm not going to be an apologist for it, but I agree with Alvin that what I said last week, there's 3 potential parties that may do it. And we don't know. I mean, maybe they'll come back in March and April, say done.
I wish I thought you were.
Okay,
I wish I thought there was hope
the
for it.
three are,
Ray, I
they
don't.
have a taxing district that does benefit from it, from the loop. They do have bi-state, which the appropriate agency probably should have been involved from the beginning. And listen, bi-state isn't flawless by any means, but and then there's the private sector. Let's see what happens.
But there's only one problem. There's no evidence that people want it. There never was.
Well, let's just see what it is, okay?
Right.
And I
Hey.
apologize to you if it is 1.8.
Well, we'll find out. Ray, I want to ask you about a development at the State House, the likes of which I don't think we've seen before. Ceres, who is the Roman god of agriculture, is a statue that has been on top of the State House for a long time. Well, Ceres was taken down and the State House was renovated. Now it's time for Ceres to go back up. But Mike Moon, a lawmaker from somewhere in Missouri, has objected.
Ash Grove.
Ash Grove? All right, thank you. And he thinks that we're worshiping false gods and has objected to the Roman god of agriculture being displayed on top of the State House. Is this crazy, or is this just a natural extension of the movement now by all Americans to take down statues which they find objectionable?
You can't be serious. No, I mean, I thought I had it on my radio. I didn't even know what it was. I never heard of the Roman god of agriculture. Is it god or goddess?
Goddess.
Goddess.
I was going to say, first of all,
She is a
I was going to say, I thought she was a goddess. So
2019, you never know.
He's clearly got his facts wrong, calling her a false god. It's so stupid. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, well, you could tear this to... Each of these is one at a time. It's so ludicrous on its face. And one of the things, having worked in the state capitol, it is really, as many things as we want to say that's not good about Missouri and the state government stuff.
Beautiful.
It's a gorgeous, it really is. I think I saw it described as kind of like an art museum. It's a beautiful building, and it's a beautiful sculpture that apparently they've done a wondrous job on a bipartisan basis restoring this great piece of art. It's, you know.
I'm sure all false idols were beautifully restored.
Well, I don't really see that it's an issue,
All right.
and I just think it's kind of silly.
Well, I mean, look, you can look at it from where direction he's coming from, but, all right, as crazy as this sounds, there'll be some other, like, can we say, partisan discussion, which will sound just as crazy, but his fellow Republicans that are against him will be for him on this. This is a bad idea, and just because Republicans are shooting him down doesn't mean that more bad ideas will be coming out of Jefferson City. And I just ask these same Republicans, when some more nutty stuff comes up, please chastise those bringing it up as well.
If Ceres had only been on top of the dome at the Capitol building for the last couple weeks, I could see where, you know, he would have a point. But it's been so offensive to his spirituality for, you know, as long as he's been there that he doesn't realize it. What, 70 years it's been on top of the dome? I mean, so that's kind of ridiculous.
I think we need to say now that, like, Rocket 11 went to the moon, you know, and we used to have some program called Gemini and Mercury that was big time in St. Louis. We can't call them that anymore.
Charles,
You know,
there's one other
I
point,
think
Charlie.
everyone's got something they're offended with, and this
Well-
guy, Mike Moon, is upset
but
with
he's
the
just,
statue.
he's a fringe guy. But the point is this, that the other thing that I didn't mention is, again, I don't want to get into a serious pun, but agriculture is, we don't think about so much in St. Louis, has always been the economic kind of backbone of the state.
Yeah.
And so
That's
it's
why
like,
that's why she's
Okay.
up
so
there.
it's really,
All right,
it's
let's
just,
move on.
it's appropriate for
Well,
this.
let me ask another religious question. Bill, in, I guess it's Cameron, Missouri, it's the Cameron R6 school district. The football coach there has been leading his players in prayer in chapel before and after games. And now various groups have sued, but the Attorney General, Eric Schmidt, has come to the defense of the high school public football coach. Whose side are you on?
I'm on the side of the football coach, and if he wants to pray with the kids, fine. If the legislators want to put Ceres on the dome, you know, that doesn't bother me a bit. I don't get worked up by these things, and my understanding, vaguely, is that this is not a particular prayer for, you know, we Presbyterians must come together. It's just a more generic prayer, and if it makes people feel good, fine.
All right. My deal is that, okay, so, Eric Schmidt will ultimately be running for office again, and this is more political than it is anything else because somebody has sued, it'll get to the state Supreme Court and be rejected right then. There are clear laws governing separation of church and state, and Eric Schmidt knows that. So, look, I'm not mad at the coach for praying. I prayed for the game that I did not get hurt, okay? But we didn't all get together and do it. So it's, quite frankly, it's violation of the Constitution.
I'm a little disappointed in Eric Schmidt more than anything else, because he's a bright guy and he knows better. And then this is a simple church, and it is about the separation of church and state. And I know, oh my God, that's PC. It's a simple principle that's part of our Constitution.
I thought generically you could have a religion or
I just don't think it's necessary. I think keeping religion out of public schools.
The representative of the agnostic and atheist group even said, we have no problem with the kids praying. It's when the coach leads the prayer that we have a problem. And that's what the establishment wants.
No one's ever said you can't personally pray.
Well, we are praying that you support the 9 Network, and here's how you can do just that.
There's much more to come from Donnybrook, but we want to take just a moment to cordially invite you to become a member of the 9 Network and support programs like Donnybrook and everything else you and your family enjoy here on the 9 Network. And if you've been holding out, well, tonight is the night for you to become a member or renew your membership, because we have a challenge grant going during this program. We have a $3,000 challenge grant, which is courtesy of the folks you see on your screen. Their generosity, thank them very much, which means when you join us at the $5 level, say $5 a month for everything you enjoy here on the 9 Network, you can have the Donnybrook, or you can have 1 ticket to the Donny Bash coming up on October 1st of 2020. Your $5 monthly contribution becomes $10 because of that challenge grant. So please, your dollars are doubled right here, right now, thanks to those generous folks when you become a member at the $5 monthly ongoing contribution level. Now, you get to choose either the ticket to Donny Bash or the Donnybrook. Now, let me give you some great advice. Join us for $12 a month. There you go, $12 a month, and you get 2 tickets to Donny Bash coming up on October 1st, 2020, and a Donnybrook. You get it all, plus your $12 ongoing monthly contribution becomes $24 a month because of that challenge grant. So you can do an awful lot of good for the good programs that you and your family enjoy here on the 9 Network by calling us right now, or you can also go online at 9net.org and sign up to become the next new member of the 9 Network. Let's go on over now to Kate Durbin and the Donnybrook gang and hear from them.
Well, we are over here where you expect to see folks every Thursday night, and happy holidays to all of you.
Same to you.
Happy holidays.
Good to see you.
We are excited because we do have the Donnybrook back in the fold. How long ago do you think that first appeared?
I don't think I was born yet.
25 years. Yeah, 20 some odd.
I think we were at the old studios.
Oh, I think so,
When
definitely.
it first
Definitely.
appeared. So, that would be a fun thing if people decided
Well,
to
that
join.
would just be Ray and I out of
I was
this
just
group.
saying.
Yeah.
I've got hit by a few of them. I don't think it's that much fun. No. It's a great.
It didn't
it's a
hurt
great
too much,
thing.
did it?
No, it's great.
Yeah, and then they're really a lot of fun to be able to throw. What I do is I throw it at the television, and it
That's what
doesn't
a lot of
damage
people do,
anything.
right.
That's
But what if you throw it at Ray and all of a sudden it turns into the camera's on Wendy, and then you hit Wendy?
Well, it's equal opportunity bashing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you do to get a Donnybrook? What do we?
To get a Donnybrook?
Yeah.
Well, all you have to do is become a member
Just
of the 9
become a member,
Network.
okay, cool.
That's right, and that is at the $5 a month. There it is, $5 a month ongoing contribution, or a $60 one-time contribution. But more and more people are doing the sustainer membership, and it really helps out with the budgeting.
And you don't have to think about it anymore. You know what I mean? It's just one and done. I think that's what people like about it.
One and done, you mentioned. I think that a lot of people love the sustainer because it is one and done, and they know that there is going to be a consistency at the next membership level. They're going to do a one and done, and they are going to be able to see the Donnybrook and get 2 tickets to Donny Bash. And those people who come over and over again to Donny Bash really love it.
We sure appreciate that. This is our big party of the year. It's really a fundraiser, but it's more like a party because we mingle, we enjoy appetizers and drinks, and it's a major social, our only one for 2020, and it's a great Christmas or Hanukkah gift for anybody on your shopping list.
Absolutely. We've talked about that before. When you have somebody you have absolutely no idea what to get for, doing an event is really great, and that event being Donny Bash is perfect.
Yeah, and you think that's a long way away.
Yeah.
Because I used to think it's a long way away, but hey, seriously, next thing you know, it's the middle of summer, and you're thinking like, oh wow, it's almost Donny Bash time.
It's weeks away.
It's
at
weeks
that
away
point,
instead
right.
of months away. Great gift, you know, it's wonderful, and Santa, if you can, Santa says, okay, Santa says, I cannot hit all the houses that want those 2 tickets, so it's up to you to make somebody happy. So make Santa happy. Make us happy.
It's also making us happy because it's so much fun for us. For real. I mean,
Yeah.
we all love it. We have a great time every year. Get to see some of our regulars and lots of new folks. And we do the pre and post cocktail reception.
And I think people really enjoy meeting your families as well. I mean, I know we can't guarantee that your families are going to show up. We can't speak for them, but they usually do, right?
my
The
family does, and my
ringers.
grandkids.
Yeah,
and I was just
Coach.
giving some pictures tonight showing my granddaughter asking the last question
Right.
at the
That's
last
right.
Donny Bash.
Right. Where
And
do
she's
you get-
9 years old, and Evie said, "Where is the best ice cream in St. Louis?"
Oh, that's
And-
great.
And I said, "I'll take you there." Yeah, I mean, so yes, our families go. It's a blast.
The problem for us is Bill uses this to inoculate
That's
himself
right.
I
from
do.
any
He
criticism.
weaponizes
Every
those
year. We just have to,
beautiful
whenever
children.
at Donny Bash, we'll all say, well, Bill, that's a great
Don't
point.
Yeah,
make
that's
because
right.
we've got
Don't make
these
the kids
wonderful
cry.
little grandkids in the audience, so we're all like, oh, sure, Bill, whatever.
But
Whatever you
I'm
say.
sure that not all of the questions, well, I know not all of the questions were as gentle as that. People really have the opportunity to get involved, don't they?
Oh, they do. They do. They let us know how they're feeling about the conversation, about the views.
All right.
doubt.
Well, we're going to let you know how you can do that. We're going back over to Wilshaw right now.
All right, our time is ticking away for that to take advantage of that challenge grant. We have a $3,000 challenge grant available to us right now. These generous folks have made that available, which means your dollars are doubled, dollar for dollar. So join us at the $5 level. There's the Donnybrook they were just talking about. You can choose that as your thank you gift when you join us with a $5 ongoing monthly contribution, or if you prefer, you can have 1 ticket to the Donny Bash. Either one of those, take your choice at the $5 level. I suggest you join us at the $12 level, and that way you get 2 tickets. You can bring a date. How about that? To see Donny Bash on October 1st, 2020, and you'll also get a Donnybrook. And if you do it right now, that $12 ongoing monthly contribution becomes $24 a month, and that means just that much more money for new programs, new episodes, and programs you haven't even thought about yet coming to the 9 Network thanks to your generosity and your membership. There are the folks who've made this challenge grant possible. Here's the Donnybrook that they were talking about, and it's foam rubber, so if you get one and you get mad at one of the Donnybrook folks and you want to throw it at your TV, you won't break it. So that's why it's such a nice gift to have while you're watching Donnybrook. And you can get this plus 2 tickets to Donny Bash coming up on October 1st when you join us with a $12 monthly ongoing contribution to the 9 Network, and it'll be doubled thanks to our challenge grant. Your $12 becomes $24 if you call us right now. Let's go back over to the Donnybrook gang. Oh, we're back to the program.
Hey, thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you on October the 1st at our Donny Bash. All right, Bill McClellan, I want to ask you about a development that I thought was interesting this week when Amazon, the huge giant that's into every industry it seems, has announced plans to create 1,500 jobs in the Hudson Yards neighborhood of New York City. And it's going to do so without any tax inducements, no tax credits whatsoever. And Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is claiming victory because, you know, about a year ago, Amazon said, we want to go to New York and we want all sorts of tax incentives. Well, she and others led the protest against that, and here they are. No tax credits, no tax inducements, and they're bringing 1,500 jobs anyway. Do you think there's a lesson there for St. Louis?
Well, I'm sure there's a lesson there, but it's beyond my ken. I mean, New York City is New York City. And, you know, the president might not like it and he might move out, but there's a lot of people who like to visit it, a lot of people who think living there is sophisticated, and they don't have to give money. And I wish St. Louis didn't have to give money and like Square would come here without money, but it doesn't. So, I mean, if the lesson is pretend we're in New York City, I don't think it's a good one.
And I think it's, you know, it's such a, it represents such a tiny little victory, because I thought the previous proposal would have brought tens of thousands of jobs. So the 1,500 is okay, you know, good for you, Congresswoman.
Well, Northern Virginia, you know, I lived there, and they don't have to give anybody anything, but they did, and then they landed, I guess, this mega complex. But,
right.
You know, a good friend of mine wrote an excellent column in the Riverfront Times this week detailing that we have a family that doesn't need money, and somehow the deal that was done on the soccer team suddenly
There's a little money
they need a
involved.
little money. Right. So, yeah, that is a big victory for the Congresswoman, because
I think so too.
she got zero, you know, from her state when they wanted something, and that is a victory.
I think it was. AOC is a rock star, and it really was a big victory for her. And I think I don't disagree with Bill. There is a little bit of lesson, which is having some sense of self-esteem kind of collectively wouldn't be a bad idea. And there's certainly communities in St. Louis. In fact, we probably could talk next week about Maryland Heights being one, where you hear something described as a rich, a great opportunity, business opportunity, and they still want to give it tips, you know. And so it seemed we're in parts of St. Louis, and certainly in the wealthier suburbs and stuff, people ought to start having enough self-esteem about what they have, economically speaking. I'm not saying they're better than anybody else, but in terms of giving largesse, and again, the soccer's an example, but we don't have to be so insecure about
Well, don't forget, soccer's a good example, because we were told, but for the tax breaks in 2017, you know, the city had to raise its taxes and support soccer, that there wouldn't be Major League Soccer. So the voters in the city of St. Louis rejected that, and Major League Soccer came anyway. It also happened in Florissant when Mayor Tom Schneider said no to Walmart. Walmart said we need the incentives. Florissant said no. Walmart built anyway.
And there's a case to be made in U City and other places like that with these things, but particularly in the. Remember when De Pere was blighted for West County Shopping Center? I mean, there is.
I stand corrected.
Well,
no, seriously, there is a lesson.
There's a lesson at least where you can't.
And they're doing that in Kansas now,
Which isn't to say you never do it.
You brought that up, and I have to. This is a true story. I called West County Mall's folks, went berserk on behalf of the school district. How could you do this? How could you do that? It saved West County Mall, and it's coughing up a lot more money that went to it. That would work, and I went back and I said, you know what? I was wrong. So there is an instance where I said, like, I was dead set against that, and it actually turned out, I was wrong. So I was,
All right.
Well, I stand corrected.
Everyone's right. We're all standing corrected. And Wendy was going to, maybe I'm standing corrected on the 1.8 million. All right. Hey, Wendy, I want to ask you, however, about Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, which has said that it's going to ban the box. That means when you apply to school there won't be a box anymore saying that, you know, have you committed a felony? Have you had trouble with the law? However, if you do get admitted, then they're going to ask you again. What do you think? Is it a victory for kids or what?
I think it is. I think it's something of a victory, to be sure, because before, the whole problem, according to the student advocacy group that pushed so hard for this to be enacted on all 3 campuses, the kids wouldn't even, they were so paralyzed with fear at the prospect of just being rejected outright that they wouldn't even apply, when maybe whatever legal infraction was in their past was something that the university would be okay with. And because they will vet, there will be a vetting process, but the student has to be approved first, admitted first. One of the 2019 student advocates who pushed so hard for this said that he doesn't think there should be, any kind of background checks if you have, any sort of a criminal past. I think that's kind of that's an overstep. But yeah, I think it will help some kids who would be disenfranchised because of whatever they have in their past.
I agree, and my takeaway from this, which is that how great it is that students are standing up, and the student advocacy part is what I like the best. The fact that students are pushing and standing up and wanting to be activists, and I'm happy. I'm known to my kids as OK Boomer. I'm cool with that. No, I am. I actually am, and I love the fact that it was students pushing.
But
I don't think.
Always done that.
I think that it will have the impact of not discouraging somebody that might have had a pot, crime in his past from, being willing to, and hopefully, if they are going to look at kids once they're in, they're going to limit, the inquiry to violent crime or something really dangerous.
Well, I think the image that, like, the people who would be totally against this, they have this image of some poor black kid from the ghetto, and that's not what it's about. You have to be accepted into the University of Illinois. This will help an affluent white kid from Arlington Heights outside of Chicago.
Just as much.
So just keep in mind, this is not about these criminals will now be rampaging the campus.
Well, this is the church of the second chance for all these kids.
Right.
I mean, a kid who comes up in a really tough area and gets in trouble and kind of straightens himself out, this does give that kid a shot.
It does,
but maybe because they said the student will get admitted, but they can then renege on the admittance.
Depending on the
situation.
Yeah, true. I mean,
so what's the difference?
So if you have a Coke dealer from Arlington Heights who is making money for college as a sophomore, that Coke dealer isn't going to get in, I would imagine.
Maybe not, but at the same time, if it wasn't a violent crime, I think you have a stronger chance of getting in, obviously, than if you don't ever apply in the first place.
But if he's convicted of theft, he's not going to be in the dormitory, right?
Oh, no.
Well, at least he won't have a roommate.
It depends, Charlie. Because he had, it's because that one. I am a parishioner of Pastor McCullen's Church of the Second
But who's going to room with him?
Charlie, if he stole a loaf of bread, if he was Jean Valjean trying to save his family and he shoplifted something, and he did have this
trying
on
to save his
record.
family, so he shoplifted.
Wait a minute. Who was your first roommate in college?
Garney Sahagian.
Do you know if he had a record now?
I really don't. But
See, wait, end of story. End of story.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know what he did.
Well, you know what they might have asked then? I don't know. They might have had the box back when we were.
Yeah, we had one that said, have you ever been arrested? And if you were a fool, if you put yes.
Well, I don't know.
So, Charlie, you're going to say if somebody had a shoplifting, they shouldn't be able to go to college? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, come on.
No.
I mean, obviously, if they turn out to be like a murder or something.
You'd be surprised.
I mean,
because the university is going to get sued if the kid with the record gets in and causes problems.
Well, that could be also, but I will, like I said, we're talking about the University of Illinois, which is very difficult to get into.
Well, it sure is. And get out.
But you look at it.
Get out of it. Okay. Exactly. Ray. I want to ask you, Ray, about a very novel approach to solving gun violence. Kara Spencer and other members of the Board of Aldermen passed a measure that's going to be signed by the mayor. We're told that essentially turns parks into daycare centers. He's going to call city parks daycare centers because that way they'll be copacetic with state law that says you can't take a gun into a daycare center. Right. Currently, you can conceal carry or open carry into a park, but
good for Kara. I mean, we have this culture war going on, and obviously Jeff City and the Republican legislature has tried to take away any opportunity for gun control in the city, and I think while there isn't any panacea, and I am in favor of the Second Amendment, right to bear arms, I do think that whatever we can do to reduce the number and the proliferation of guns in the city is a good idea.
Why not make the whole city a daycare area then? I mean, like, I'm all for.
Well, I think parks is a reasonable place to start.
It just seems so silly when you're, naming things something they aren't, like you're going to get away with it. Maybe we should just make the entire city a daycare center.
I think it's. I'm glad she did it. That's all I'm saying.
The problem I have with it is, look, same thing with the guns, Ray. But here's the deal: you're a daycare center now. So now, when the kid falls off the jungle gym or God forbid, some
You're gonna
kid
be
gets
sued.
abducted, now you're responsible. Because, no, you're a daycare center. You were supposed to be watching out for my kid because you're a daycare center.
The
Well,
city
and
has
one of the
liability for
aldermen-
things
No,
now.
I know. We all,
Okay.
That doesn't
One of the
change.
aldermen question even suggested that he doesn't like the possibility of trouble, that you have, somebody, a family man with or a mom with a gun to protect the family. The police maybe get involved or get called, and then you have a potential tragedy.
Have we heard from the
Here we go.
police on this? Because I can't imagine the police want a lot of people with guns running around the parks. I could be wrong.
I can't believe they're going to enforce this one.
Well, I think,
Hey, you're in a daycare center. Act appropriately. Speaking of daycare centers, October 1st, we kind of have adult daycare at the Sheldon. And here's how you can join it.
I love Donnybrook, and I know that you do too. That's why you're here watching right now. And since that's the case, isn't this the perfect time for you to become a member of the 9 Network, or maybe gift someone with a membership at the 9 Network? If you join us right now, we have a special challenge grant as well, and you will be able to double the impact of your membership thanks to these members who got together and provided a fund for matching funds. And we have up to $3,000 to be matched during this program, this Donnybrook program. So please give us a call right now. And when you do, we have a couple of different membership levels. At just $5 a month as a sustaining member, you can either choose a Donnybrook, which is so much fun, or you can get 1 ticket to Donny Bash. Or if you decide to join us at our next membership level of just $12 a month, you are going to get both the classic Donnybrook, the styrofoam brick, plus 2 tickets. Now, I really recommend that you get those 2 tickets to Donny Bash and the Donnybrook at the $12 a month. What's going to happen is your $12 per month sustaining membership becomes $24 per month sustaining membership. You're going to get the 2 tickets to Donny Bash plus the brick. But think about this. You will receive this certificate that I have here in my hot little hand, and you can gift that to someone. And then just a couple of weeks before the event, you will get the actual tickets in the mail. But what a great holiday gift. Maybe somebody who shares your political beliefs completely, or maybe it's somebody who you don't see eye to eye very much. Wouldn't it be terrific to be able to go out for a meal together? Well, actually, you don't even have to go out for a meal. You can come right on down to Donny Bash, because there's heavy hors d'oeuvres ahead of the show, and there are libations of whatever type that you'd like. And then you see the show, and then there's the after reception, and you get to talk to the guys who are over there. And we're going to go over there right now.
And over here with the Donnybrook bunch, and I hope you will call us and take advantage of that challenge grant. It doubles your donation right now to the 9 Network. Join us at the $12 level, get the Donnybrook and 2 tickets to the Donny Bash coming up on October 1st of 2020, and all these folks will be there. You get to mix and mingle with them. You get to see a live broadcast of the show, and you guys got to mix and mingle before and after.
Only when we're doing the Jingle Bell Rock.
I was going to say, that's very good.
This is right before the election.
Swing.
This will be right before the election in 2020.
Good point.
So
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of serious mingling.
And it'll be really calm. Nobody's nothing's at
I'm
stake.
gonna
We've
die.
all
That
just-
spoils the holiday mood. All right, come on. I like to
Just
mix and
come
mingle thing
together as
going on.
one.
Maybe we could sing Kumbaya. That would be fun.
That's
At
a
the
good
Donny
idea.
Bash, yeah.
That would be a good thing to do that
Well,
night.
maybe if somebody sang it. I don't know about us.
You know, you all just wade into the crowd and get to know everybody and chit-chat and all that sort. I'm wondering, what's the craziest or weirdest thing you've ever been asked? I know that they must ask you stuff all the time, you know, or say things like, gee, I thought you were taller and blah,
I
blah,
get
blah.
that a lot.
You know,
What's the best ice cream?
I don't know how weird
what's
it
the
is.
best ice cream?
No, quite frankly, like, that's easy. You know, your turn is the one that kind of hits you sometimes where you think, like, okay, all right. But no, it's very cordial, and it's very
It is.
part of the family-ish. And, you know, we have fun. We all have fun on the show, but it's not like, hey, we're important and we're glad you're here to, you know.
Oh, no,
we're
you guys are right there
it's
with the
like,
folks.
No, it is
Absolutely.
absolute fun. And anything that anybody wants to ask us is fine. And anything that they want to discuss is fine. And it's just like a fun time. It really is, all the way around.
Well, what I like it is the way we play to the audience. You just can't help it. And Alvin in particular
Oh my
can
gosh.
get on fire.
It's like being in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. The only thing missing is like the rocks glass and the
the bow tie to the side.
It ought to be a lounge act. And
Right. Yeah.
Can't forget, Alvin was on stage in high
You're
school.
on
That's
stage.
right.
Like I said, like, now wait a minute. We're on camera here. See, this is the difference in being like Broadway.
You don't have
and
the
TV.
live audience
Right, but
to
hey,
egg
wait a
you
minute.
on.
We're on stage and there's people out there. And we try to entertain you here every week with knowledge and forethought and all that. And we fail miserably. But yeah, when we're on stage, hey, we can hear whether we stink or not.
Now, don't forget, we do have a challenge grant.
We do. A $3,000 challenge grant. If you join us at the $5 monthly contribution level, and by the way, it's courtesy of these generous folks that you see on the screen right now. But anyway, your $5 a month becomes $10 a month if you call and join us right now, and you can have either the Donnybrook or one ticket to the Donny Bash on October 1st, 2020. But please join us at the $12 level. For goodness sakes, they'll put that right on your credit card or your debit card. It'll go out once a month. You'll never miss it. And for that, we have 2 tickets to Donny Bash on October 1st of next year, plus a Donnybrook. You get all of that for just a $12 ongoing monthly contribution, and you'll get to hang out with the folks.
All of that, and be a part of the success because we did it last week. So let's match that, folks.
That's right. We did make our
right.
our challenge grant last week. I don't know. I have no idea where we are this week. So let's not take any chances. Call us right now. Let's go over to Kate Durbin, and she'll tell you more about how easy it is to become a member of the 9Net.
It is so easy. You can go online at ninenet.org and join us online, or you can give us a call right now at the 800-568-9099 and let us know what membership level you're interested in. Will just told you about the $5 sustaining membership where you can choose the Donnybrook, or you can get 1 ticket to Donny Bash. But I would like to encourage you to join us at $12 per month as a sustainer, and you're going to get 2 tickets to Donny Bash, and you will also receive the Donnybrook. Now, we would love to be able to get this out to you so that you can let somebody know that you want to take them to Donny Bash next year as a present. And there's an extra benefit in joining us right now because we do have the matching grant that's going on. We're not there yet. We're probably about halfway there. So I would like to encourage you to call right now to take advantage of leveraging your membership. Thanks so much to these members who have joined together to say that they are going to match us up to $3,000. Your $12 per month membership becomes $24. And in addition to Donny Bash and the brick that you're going to get, you're also going to be able to sign on to 9 Passport. Now this is great because you get a huge library where you're able to stream on any device anytime you want. So that is just an extra something when you become a member of the 9 Network. So you're going to get Donny Bash, you're going to get the brick, you're going to get 9 Passport, and the satisfaction of knowing that you keep local programming on the air. Won't you give us a call right now and become a member?
Thank you so much. Can't wait for October. It's just only months away. It's a great holiday gift. Alvin Reed, I want to ask you about a Melville teacher who had a rather unusual social studies assignment, I think. The teacher asked the students to kind of act like they were plantation owners and that they would, as part of this history assignment, assess a price onto a slave. Some of the parents, I think, reasonably said that made our kids feel pretty uncomfortable. What do you think about this assignment?
Well, slavery should make you feel uncomfortable. And right now, slavery is taught like this. Between, the Civil War was fought between 1861 and 1865. It may have been about slavery, maybe not. And we were slaves in the United States for pertinent 400 years. And you move on to the next thing. I don't have a problem with this assignment because it makes it real. And then there should have been some other questions like, would you separate families? All right? Would you, violate the rights and physical rights of the women that you owned? Would answer these questions. Because if we're going to have a discussion about slavery, let's have a discussion about slavery. Because the way it is now, it's like an afterthought. And this made those kids think about it, and I don't have a problem with that.
I am going to regret saying what I'm just about to say, but I think that these complaints made the parents feel better about themselves if they thought it through the way you've just presented it, and the fact that the kids are uncomfortable. We're creating generations of kids who believe that they are entitled to never feel uncomfortable.
Good point.
Sometimes intellectual discussions require some discomfort. So I don't understand that at all. Where the parents would, I would want my child to be able to critically think, as you said. Okay, let's extend this. Are you willing to, or you separate a family, or you break a family up into little pieces? Do you put dad somewhere over here and the kids and mom? I mean, who says the kids are entitled or allowed to not ever feel uncomfortable?
I kind of side with the parents. And I respect what you're saying, and as a white guy, I'm not going to particularly if the proper context is there, then what you're saying makes perfect sense. But I doubt, I didn't get the sense, and I may not have read it right, I didn't get the sense that this was an extensive curriculum on slavery. And if it was just sort of an example, then I can totally understand the parents feeling like,
well, you know,
and it's not about baby and the kids. Like I say, I love what Alvin's saying in the sense that slavery has the atrocities. I mean, absolute human atrocities of slavery have always been kind of, I don't want to glossed over. So I'm not arguing that point. I just doubt that they had a curriculum that was that comprehensive.
Well, and I'm sure they did. Are capable. You know, they are capable of hearing uncomfortable, unpleasant things and sorting it out in their minds.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
You know,
Well, I would also say that I am on this subject. I guarantee you, I'm a minority within a minority because 75% of white parents in this region would probably object to this. 99% of black parents want that because I think they would see it as you're putting the white kids in a position of being slave owners. And we should never, ever, ever do that. And I said, like, no, let's do that.
I will say, though, when my kids were in grade school, they had a wonderful teacher by the name of Mary Ellen Picker. And there's a historical figure, I think his name is Henry, who traveled in a box.
Yeah, and mailed himself into freedom.
And so this teacher had the kids get in boxes and feel how it would be to be Henry traveling in a box, took photos, and then displayed them at the History Museum. And I thought it was a wonderful exercise.
Well, it may be, but that had a happy ending. You know, like, hey, be a slave for your whole life.
I think the idea is to immerse yourself like the teacher in Melville did so that you can kind of understand it by actually role-playing.
Okay, I get that. But did he explain, you know, if he'd have got caught, you know what would have happened to him? Maybe you'd run that past him, too, right?
I'll stick to being opposed to it on the grounds kind of that if we lived in a perfect world and the context was proper and everything was great, it'd be fine, but we don't. And I think the folks that spoke up in Melville had reason to do so, and I don't think they were just coddling their kids when they did. But, yeah, I understand.
Okay. Bill, I want to ask you about a new federal judge by the name of Sarah Pitlick, who seems extremely qualified to me to sit on the federal bench of the Eastern District of Missouri, and she was approved by the Senate last week by virtue of the fact that her undergraduate career was at Boston College. She also studied at Yale in law school and headed up the Yale Students for Life, all two of them maybe, I don't know. But at that time, I'm sure she was probably a real minority in that class. Nonetheless, she's had some conservative views, but she has very little judicial experience. She's on the bench in the Eastern District of Missouri. What do you think?
well, as somebody who flunked out of Illinois, I'm not going to comment on her academics, Charlie, but this is the woman who's never done a deposition, never appeared as a trial lawyer, never been in court, right? I think it's wrong. I mean, it's, you know, when you're selecting judges strictly on a political agenda, there's something wrong with it. I mean, I like the idea of a judge being a man or woman who's has a record of, you know, being thoughtful. She might be conservative, she might be liberal, but you think, you know, I like the way this woman or man thinks, and I wouldn't mind being a plaintiff or a defendant in front of her, rather than some woman who they say, well, she's very pro-life, and she's against in vitro fertilization. So she's our pick. I go, well, I don't know if she has the judicial temperament. I mean,
Well,
I wish they had experience before they could be named a judge.
Where is John Kennedy? And I mean Senator John Kennedy, the conservative of Louisiana, who just tore apart an earlier Trump nominee, just mercilessly about I can't remember all the different legal phrases. He didn't know what this was, and he didn't know what that was. He was completely unqualified. This woman, on the face of it, seems just, it's not about ideology. Obviously, Trump's going to appoint conservative judges. Everybody gets that. I mean, he just limits it to the Federalist Society. But from her description, there's two things. One, she seems to have no experience. And the other is she's not just pro-life, she's against surrogacy. I mean, Tammy Duckworth, the senator from Illinois, did a great piece that's in The Hill, just laying out in much detail just how extreme and whacked out this woman is. And that's not just enough. She really, I mean, this woman is very fringy.
That's what liberals always do to conservative judges. They're all whacked out.
No, it isn't. No, I just said.
We're saying
not you,
Charlie,
him.
but I know. I just said you would expect him to appoint conservative judges. I get that. They're not going to get.
No, you don't get that. You oppose them all.
When Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan was nominated, people made the same sort of. When she was Solicitor General, people made the same sorts of arguments about her legal background. And I love you, but I think you're being intellectually dishonest here. I think you're troubled by her politically active bent.
I'm troubled by so many things.
I know. Not so much the experience and the fact that she would have a lifetime. But, you know, people who do subscribe to a certain religious belief or a set of religious beliefs, they cannot continuously be demeaned and diminished.
I'm not demeaning you for that.
Yes, you are.
Being against
She's a whack job. She's a whack job.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Being against surrogacy as a social evil.
Some of her stuff.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about.
It's some of her stuff.
That does not relieve you from being a judge. That does
I
not
think it's
disqualify.
disqualifying.
Okay. I will say this. We had a police chief in St. Louis that had never arrested anybody.
Right.
And I kind of thought, like,
was he appointed for life?
I said, like, that's interesting, you know.
See, Ray just made the point.
Was he appointed for life?
I understand that, but I'm just saying that this happens, and if I had ever got my law degree and I was, like, doing traffic court or something like that, and the phone rang and said, like, hey, Alvin, I want you to be a whatever judge, all I would have told Carbon was, we're moving.
We're moving.
Right.
But it's like President Obama said, elections have consequences.
Right.
Yeah, but everything doesn't have equivalency.
All right. I think people are going to have to write us and share their opinions, that's for sure. By the way, you can do that by writing to KETC, St. Louis, Missouri, 63108. Don't forget, we love those emails and those tweets as well. And you can also listen to us on your favorite podcast. That could be Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play. Next week, you won't see us on the 9 Network, but we will be on Facebook and on the 9 Network's webpage. And happy birthday to LT from our staff, who's turning another one, believe it or not. Thanks so much. We're going to see you at Donny Bash, October the 1st.
Donnybrook is made possible by the members of the 9 Network.
Okay, the 9 Network has done its part, brought you a new episode of Donnybrook, and now we're hoping that you'll do yours and become a member of the 9 Network and support programs that you and your family enjoy here on the 9 Network, things like Donnybrook and everything else you and the kids or the grandkids It's all here because of people just like you who are willing to support it, to put their money where their minds are, and support quality television here in the St. Louis metro area. We still have that challenge grant. This is our last chance to take advantage of it. So please, this is the good time to get involved. These generous folks have put up $3,000 to match all of our pledges during this program. So your $5 ongoing monthly contribution means that it will be $10 ongoing monthly contribution because of these folks. Or if you join us at the $12 level, it'll be $24. Now there, you can see at the $5 ongoing monthly contribution level, you can take your pick. You can have the Donnybrook, or if you prefer, one ticket to the Donny Bash, and that's coming up on October 1st, 2020. One or the other when you join us with just a $5 ongoing monthly contribution to the 9 Network. Join us at the $12 level, and this is where it really gets fun. You get 2 tickets, so you can bring a friend. That's always much more fun. And you also get the Donnybrook. So you get all of that when you join us at the $12 ongoing monthly contribution level. And remember, with that challenge grant, it's $24 a month, and that doesn't cost you anything at all above the $12 that you're becoming a member at. So please call us right now, become a member of the 9 Network, support all the programs that are so important to you and everyone in the metropolitan area, and it will be doubled thanks to some other very generous members. Let's go over now to Kate Durbin and the Donnybrook crew.
Well, you never know what they're going to be talking about over here. The last thing we heard was that you were watching something about Mr. Rogers.
Well, it's a very cute and happy story,
yeah,
but it involves a tragedy that happened in Pittsburgh. But anyway, just
the synagogue?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
He does a thing on their public broadcast channel and other channels where he's really supporting that we love and that Pittsburgh is one city and united, and I was really impressed with it. I thought that he's from Pittsburgh area.
Yes,
and I
broadcast
thought,
there forever.
just looking at it, I said, like, that was really impressive. And not to get all Donnybrookish, but why didn't we do that? When we had our episodes. But anyway, he used to be on Channel 9. Yeah. And while we're at it, let's just stay on the gloom tip here. But please get ready to send money. The lady who played Big Bird for many years passed away.
It was
the gentleman.
Guy. I'm sorry.
His name was Carol.
Right. Exactly. I knew that. But anyway, yeah. So anyhow, it was. I thought that was.
Changing of an era.
Changing of an era.
Absolutely.
Right.
And, you think about that kind of shows of Mr. Rogers that we had for so long, and then Sesame Street, of course, are just stalwart shows that have been on the 9 Network on PBS forever and have offered so much to the children of our area. But you guys have been on the 9 Network forever as well.
We still have the News Hour. Keep in mind, we've got a lot. We're really lucky to be part of PBS. The News Hour, I think, is the best news you can get in your evenings. And, we've been around a while ourselves. It'll be 33 years next month.
33 years, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's because of membership. Right now, we're asking people to join us at just $12 a month, and they'll be able to celebrate at Donny Bash with you all.
Yeah, it's a big party. It's our big fundraiser. It's our only fundraiser, really, that we have all year. And it does support Donnybrook, but it also supports all the other great programs on PBS. And you walk through our hallways here and you see, Big Bird, and people like Steve Martin have been through these hallways, as has Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
And
political leaders from around the world.
Political leaders, not to mention William F. Buckley. I mean, William F. Buckley and Big Bird in the same building. That's kind of weird, but
probably at the same time, right?
Yeah, but it's made possible.
Right.
Well, and the really wonderful thing about being a member of the 9 Network, as we all are, is when you feel like you're invested. You know what I mean? And when you see this life-altering program, you feel like, hey, our family had a hand in that and sharing that with the city, and it just makes you feel really good.
Well, in particular, right now in this time of giving, I
Yes.
think it's a great time for people to join the 9 Network. And when you do, you're giving a gift to yourself, you're giving a gift to the community, and we have some gifts to give you as well. Join us at just $12 a month as a sustaining member, and you'll receive both the Donnybrook And you will also get 2 tickets to Donny Bash. And you'll be able to share that gift with whoever it is that you're taking with you to Donny Bash.
Just don't throw it at them.
No.
Can't bring your bricks to the show.
Well, we'd be covered with bricks. The
Probably
stage
could.
would be covered with bricks.
That might be fun.
That
It
actually
might be. It
might
could
be fun.
Well, and remember, too, that when you join us right now, you are going to be able to take advantage of the matching funds that are being supplied by our members that you're seeing there on the screen, up to $3,000. The last I heard, we were about halfway there, and there might be an update from that, but we know that there are still funds available to help you leverage the value of your membership. So please do give us a call right now or go to ninenet.org.
Okay, well, here is the update. We are not quite halfway through that $3,000 challenge grant, so this really is the time for you to come to the aid of the 9 Network and all the programs that you enjoy here on the 9 Network. Join us at just the $5 ongoing monthly contribution level, and you can take your pick of either a Donny Brick or, if you prefer, 1 ticket to come to the Donny Bash on October 1st, 2020. One or the other, that's yours with that $5 ongoing monthly contribution. Remember, with the challenge grant, that makes that worth $10 to the 9 Network, and that makes those dollars stretch out into more great programming, because that's what it's all about. Join us at the $12 ongoing monthly contribution level, and you'll get 2 tickets to Donny Bash. You can bring a friend, and you'll also get the Donny Brick. Now, we will send you one of these cards that says Donny Bash on it. There we go. You can see that right there. Probably, it's going to be very hard to get that to you in time for Christmas or whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. But you can fill out a holiday card that says, hey, we're going to Donny Bash, and you'll get the card and all of that sort of thing, and you can hand that out for your holiday gift giving. And that's a very special gift, especially for those folks who just don't need another sweater, just don't need more socks. You know, you can take advantage of that challenge grant, support the 9 Network, and be a hero for the holiday gift giving thing. Hey, it's perfect. Call us now.
Thank you.